Welcome back.
Nearly at the top of the hill. So there's this matchstick climbing the hill. And it's all sweaty because it's exhausted. Nearly at the top of the hill, there's a hedgehog walking by. And the matchstick goes, oh, if only I had known there's a bus, I would have taken the bus.
There you go. Welcome back to Monaco.
You didn't laugh.
He's like, oh, there you go.
I know it's not the most, it's not the funniest joke in the world, but
it was a joke.
Last time tell a joke, now I tell you a joke, you don't even, nothing.
I'll laugh. Can I laugh afterwards? Why don't we crack on? As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we have Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen with us now. Well, Sebastian, you've already started, so let's continue with you. Can you describe the challenge of Monaco to us, please?
Well, it's a nice circuit. I think the particular challenge is that there's no room for error. So I think track limits, maybe it's more a question for Max, but track limits come natural. So I think we look forward to this race. Yeah, I think it's just the fact that there's so much history. This year, I guess, will be slightly different because there's not the usual atmosphere. But so much history around this Grand Prix, so many people following it. So it's a special one. And yeah, it definitely is something special to win here. So I think it's a nice challenge. On the other hand, it can be also very boring, and a very boring race if you get stuck. And it's quite frustrating because it's not great to overtake.
You say it's fantastic to win here. When you think of your 53 victories in Formula One, do your two at Monaco stand out? Yeah,
I mean, I do obviously remember them. So, as I said, I think Monaco is always special, and therefore they do stand out. I think, yeah, also having won with Red Bull and also with Ferrari, I think is quite nice. Not sure we are in contention for this weekend, but we'll try everything.
Great. Thank you, Sebastian. We'll come back to you in a minute. Max, how much do you enjoy driving here?
During F1 weekends or just in general? Yeah, no, it's something very different. Especially qualifying, when you go to the limit and it's so narrow around here. There are some other street circuits out there, but it always feels like there is more room there, I would say. So yeah, here there is not. And you know that qualifying is so important around here because in the race it's very difficult to pass. So yeah, there's always naturally a bit more focus, of course, to qualifying. But yeah, it's nice to drive around here.
A bit more focus to qualifying. How do you rate your chances? Do you think you've got the car underneath you for pole?
I haven't done a single lap here yet, so we just need to see how it goes tomorrow. Yeah, we just need to make sure that the car is working like we want it to work, and then I'm sure that we will have a competitive car.
Great. And Max, you've had 46 podiums in Formula One, but never at Monaco. Feels like the right time to change that this year, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, so far Monaco, a few mistakes from my side, but unlucky other races. So yeah, it's not been the best for me so far, but would be, of course, a nice weekend to turn that around here.
Great stuff. Thanks, Max. We're going to go next to our fan question, please. Take a listen to this.
What are your goals for this season and how do they differ year on year?
So, guys, what are your goals for this season and how do they differ year on year? Who'd like to start? Max, why don't we start with you?
Well, it depends, of course, on the package you have. I never really set, let's say, any goals or targets. I mean, from my side, I always have to do the best I can with the least amount of mistakes. You want to be as consistent as possible, but then it depends on the car you have or underneath you, where you're gonna end up. So you just have to also take that into account, and that is, I think, at the end of the day, what's going to define your goals.
Thank you. Seb, please.
Well, obviously, it's a new challenge for me with the new team. I think it's not a secret saying that we are not quite where we wanted to be, but yeah, we take on the challenge. So I guess it's a different challenge compared to the years before. But yeah, ultimately, it's trying to do small steps in the right direction so that every race is a little bit better, and then you're working towards the big goal. I think everybody's chasing ultimately to fight for victories and fight for the championship. But from our point of view, where we are now, obviously it's a distant target, but it still remains sort of the target that ultimately you're aiming for.
Great, thank you guys, and thanks for that fan question as well from a school kid here in Monaco. Next up, can we go to a video question submitted by Matthias Brunner, please?
Matthias Brunner, speedweek.com. Max, Monaco might be the only weekend where you spend the nights not in a hotel, but you simply go home. Now, how pleasant is that? Or does it not feel a little bit strange, perhaps, because you're at work, but at the same time you're also at home?
Yeah, well, it sounds a bit stupid to stay in a hotel when you have your apartment here, so it's what it is. I mean, it's just because the track is around the corner, you stay at home, but it feels fine. I mean, I like to be at home anyway, so yeah, my approach anyway, once I get to the track, is the same. Just you sleep in your own bed.
Okay, we'll open this to the floor next. And can we start, please, with Andrew Benson from the BBC.
Thanks, Tom. Max, this is for you. Earlier, Lewis was asked if he thought contact with you at some point this year was inevitable. I guess his response, that was a question after something that Zach Brown said earlier in the week. Anyway, Lewis's response was, I think I've done well to avoid all the incidents so far. And about you, he said he feels perhaps he has a lot to prove. Is that right?
No, I have nothing to prove. And avoiding contact, I think it goes both ways. So we have done well, that's true. But yeah, we race hard, we avoided the contact, both sides. So yeah, let's hope we can keep doing that and keep being on track and race hard against each other.
Thank you, Max. We'll go next to Luke Smith, please, Autosport.
Thank you, Tom. I hope you guys can hear me now. Sebastian, you went up against Lewis in a number of title fights, thinking back in your Red Bull days and also, I guess, most famously when you were at Ferrari and he was with Mercedes. I just wanted to know, what advice would you give to Max about how to take on Lewis Hamilton in a championship battle?
No advice. I think obviously I didn't succeed. Lewis beat me, so it's better not to give him any advice. I guess he wants to succeed, and yeah, it's a long year. There's a lot of races, so it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't work like this, so I'm not giving him any advice.
Seb, what have you made of their battles so far this year?
Sorry?
What have you made of their battles so far this year, Max?
Well, I don't know. I didn't see a big deal of it because I was quite a long way back. But yeah, I think, ultimately they're very close in pace. If you're very close in pace, then you're fighting for the same spot on the track more often. And, I think it's great if, you're fighting for the lead and you have two drivers, two different cars fighting each other. So, yeah, obviously we'll see how it pans out over the course of the year.
Thank you. Next up, please, Christian Nimmervoll, motorsport.com.
Thank you, Tom. Seb, you often said that your confidence in the Aston Martin car is not yet at 100%. Now, Monaco is probably the track that requires the most confidence you need into your car from a driver perspective. Do you expect this to be more of one of the more difficult weekends? And after having raced them in Barcelona, how do you think the updates are working and what is their sort of performance benefit you have?
Well, the updates are working. I think they're doing what they were supposed to do, so I think that's positive. But obviously, where we are, we'd like to have a lot more. But we have a small step again here. So the factory and all the guys are really pushing very hard. And yeah, I think, in terms of confidence, probably it's a good time to peak. So took my time, and hopefully it will be all right this weekend.